Alright, good afternoon, guys. So, we're gonna be doing a quick review on the GU trade that I took this morning. It was a really nice trade. This is after I took a loss first on EU, and we're gonna get into that. But I do recall saying that I was expecting low pricing on GU overall, and as you can see, it came directly into exactly where I was aiming for. And then we had a very strong rejection from this area, right? Creating SMT with EU. So as you can see, EU created this low, and then when GU broke lower, EU was much higher, making EU a much stronger pair for buys. So you see, like it ran much more of a range than GU did. But I didn't trade New York. If I did, this would have been some really nice buys. But I was trading London, and I was looking for sells because I wanted GU to get into this monthly low. This was my target. It has been my target for a while. That was my current draw on liquidity. So now we're gonna have to get a new draw on liquidity. As of right now, I haven't really analyzed the markets. I guess we can go through it now. I normally analyze the DXY as well. So the DXY, I'm still waiting, as you can see, for this monthly OB order block to be tapped into, which is all the way up here. I don't think that we're gonna get here anytime soon. Maybe see a retracement before that, but on the monthly you can see it's fairly balanced. On GU we have this fair value gap here, this imbalance. We could probably see a run back up into this before a move lower, which would mean that the DXY would go lower and then go higher. On the weekly, we're still in bearish order flow. Um, bullish on DXY, bearish on GU and EU. So I'm not really fully in for the buys yet. I'm actually still interested in selling. We have hit my overall weekly target, so I'm going to be very cautious about entering any more trades for the week. But since we have hit my weekly target, as you can see, EU also took out these lows. We created a swing low here. Now we have a bullish candle. So if we can validate this swing low right here with another candle that closes above the low, then I will probably be looking for buys on maybe Friday or into the coming weeks, so we can maybe grab some liquidity before dropping again or change market structure altogether, right? So on GU this morning, EU and GU this morning, I was looking at the Asia range. So this is Asian range. It's 8 to midnight, right? So I drew out the high and the low of Asian range as my buy side and sell side liquidity. On EU, we actually had, which is where I took my first trade, which was a loss. I actually had price trade above buy side liquidity, but on GU it didn't actually get here yet. GU was here. So to me, this was a divergence because GU hasn't gotten to Asia highs yet, but EU has already taken it and it's already dropping, right? So when we had this break of market structure, remember, like I told you, price should not trade past this candle if we are gonna continue lower. So I drew my fib from here and I took a trade here and I got stopped out. So I got stopped out on this, but I was still being patient. I was waiting to see if I got anything else for the day. If the market would show me anything else. And I was really more interested in GBPUSD because of the fact that I had this very clear draw liquidity down here, right? So as you can see here, I was looking at these market structure shifts at the same time. So you can see price didn't really shift, but price did respect this order block on Euro USD. So if I was actually trading using my other strategy, this could have been a potential entry for me. But I didn't enter here. I didn't enter EU. As you can see, it would have taken out my sell side liquidity and then it reversed. But that's okay. We caught the trade on GU. Let me actually open it up. Okay, so you can see that market structure shifted when this candle body traded and closed below this low. So this is a short-term low, 1, 2, 3 candles. This is the lowest candle. I traded below here, and we had no fair value gap. So I was waiting. We traced. We dropped again. Now this is before. This is literally like right before 5, and we came that we wicked down here. But before wicking down here, we had our market structure break, and in that market structure break, we left behind a fair value gap. These fair value gaps are much more probable when the fair value gap is located at the exact place where the market structure breaks. So I set my limit order as soon as this candle closed. We hit it very soon after. My stop loss was above this high, and I held this trade to obvious sales at liquidity. This was my long hanging fruit. I took out my entire position here. I could have held it for this, right? But I wasn't quite interested in holding it for so long. As I've said before, I trade mostly short term. I don't really hold my trades for long periods of time. So that's the business on EU and GU. On oil, I actually caught a 1-to-1. I actually executed in here. I executed a trade. Let me actually turn this off. I executed a trade in here, right? This was a reaction of, we were in the daily order block, so we were maybe looking for buys overall, but since we were above daily opening price, I was looking for an area to sell from. As you can see, well, I didn't use the M5, I was on M15. I was looking at this fair value gap in here on the M15 potential fair value gap, and on the hourly I was also looking at this order block, but we didn't really come to the order block. We sold from this fair value gap here, so I got my M5 market structure shift when we traded below this short-term low, so 1 to 3 candles. There's a low here. I'm gonna take it out so you can see it a bit better. So yeah, this candle's low is clearly higher than this candle, so this is a short-term low. Trade below the short-term low. I took my entry, as you can see here. Stop loss was above this due to a lower time frame fair value gap. Yeah, this fair value gap. So I put my stop loss above there, and I entered here, and I took profit at my first partials at the 15-minute low, like I always do. So the 15-minute low, took my first partials here. Then price came back and ultimately knocked me out. So this was kind of a break-even trade. I'm gonna like pull up the history of the trading account for oil. I meant to do this yesterday, but I pretty much forgot. I'm sorry about that. So here you can see this trade I took a long time ago. So I probably should have reset the account before I did this, but this has been trading oil in London so far. This was the first day that I did the review. This was when I took that loss. Well, I took the lesson. Definitely did something on this one. This was yesterday's trade, right? And this was today's entry. Now, in this entry, I actually had an issue with TradingView because I don't really use it too often. Not too skilled with using it for executions. I have been using it for trading and analysis for a very long time, but not for execution. So as you can see, what I was looking at actually, my stop loss, I wanted my stop loss to be here at first, and no, I wanted my stop loss to be right here at first. It would have probably gotten clapped out, but it didn't. When I saw price reacting like this, I entered my first sell, as you can see here, but it was 192. It was literally, I was pretty much under leverage. My stop loss was too far away, so I exited the sell because I was like, man, what's going on here? I was freaking out. I'm like, what is going on? Then I figured out what I was doing wrong, so I entered a sell here. This again is the wrong lot size, but then I entered the right one over here, right, 952, and then took partials here, half of all of those put together. Then price took me out at break even up here. The price took me out at stop loss up here, right? Overall, I break even for the trade. So that's about it for today. As always, like and comment if you guys want to see more of my analysis. You can go over to Instagram. I normally post whenever I take a funded entry. I normally post it on Instagram while I'm actually in the trade, so you can see that I actually took the execution. Share with your friends if you want them to not necessarily learn from me, but to lend my experience, because this is all I'm doing to you guys, doing for you guys. I'm lending my experience to you and showing you what I do to take profit out of the market consistently as a funded trader. So wish you guys all a good afternoon. I'm gonna see you on the next one.